you'd like to call in, the number is area code 702-382-0103. So if you'd like to call into the show, just call in area code 702-382-0103. Well, Terry, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and start right off the bat and get you into the show real quick. Terry Neese. I've even got his background on who he is and all this stuff. Just to tell you a little bit about him. Terry, you and I met, gosh, about 25 years ago. It's probably even more than that.
Yeah, that's about 25. I think that's right. 85.
85. Oh my gosh, it seems like so long ago. But I'm gonna read off your bio here for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
20 years combined experience in radio and television. You've had television stations at KVBC.
That's correct.
Which is now KSNV. In Las Vegas. You were in Waco, Texas on KCEN.
That's correct.
Fantastic. KSPR in Springfield, Maine.
That's right.
And you were over at WGNX in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's right.
You know, great place. How was it out there?
It was beautiful. The traffic's a nightmare, but the town is great.
But the town is great. Wow, and the list goes on and on and on and on, and now, I mean, and one of the other things that we definitely want to mention is that you won 2 Emmy Awards.
2 Emmy Awards in 1983 and 1984.
Well, fantastic, and 2 Associated Press Awards.
2 Associated Press Awards. One was in 1985, and the other one of those was in 1984.
Wow, fantastic. And Terry, we're going to probably get a little bit of chance to talk a little bit more about your illustrious and long career in television. But one of the things I know a lot of people want to hear about is the story about The Price is Right, which is a story that that you'll probably go down in history for. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Price is Right story?
Well, it all started back in 2008. It's kind of a sad story to start because we had a dog named Crystal. Had her 8.5, had him 8.5 years, had her 8.5 years. And she got sick. And it was Mother's Day weekend. And we had to take her to a clinic and leave her overnight. And we found out the next day that she had pancreatic cancer, that she was going blind, and she had diabetes. So the people at the office were so nice. They said, go see your regular vet and talk this out, see what you want to do. So Monday came around and my wife went to work. I didn't want her going with me in case the results weren't as good as we had hoped.
I never want to hear that report.
Right, exactly. So I went to the vet and I said, it's all about the quality of the dog's life, not the quantity of years we've had the dog. And he said, well, I said, it's a dog in any pain. He said, I can't tell you it is, but I can't tell you it isn't. So I knew what the answer was going to be, but I had to let my wife come up with a formulator herself. So Wednesday we decided we had to put the dog down. So we went into, the dog was everything to us. We played with the dog every day, we walked the dog, and it was just, we were in mourning. For lack of a better definition, we were in mourning. So I knew my wife had some time left at work that she hadn't used vacation time, and I said, pick anywhere on the West Coast you would like to go. You pick it, your choice. Just as we spend 2 or 3 days, have a good time, relax, and get away from the house after a couple of weeks of just sitting around. So she said, well, Erica, one of the people she works with, just came back from The Price is Right. I've always wanted to go there. How about you and I going over there? I said, well, let's plan this out. If we're going to do it, my television experience tells me if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Before we go, pick a time in the fall when school starts again. There'll be less kids out there. This was May. And I said, what we'll do in the meantime, we'll record this show every day and watch it and study it so we can get some tips of how the games are played, because we haven't sat down and really watched it religiously in quite a while.
Sure.
So we recorded it every day, and every night we would sit down and watch the show. And one of the first things you notice when you watch the show for a couple of weeks, the prizes were repeated. So it gives you kind of a clue in as to things that go on behind the scenes. And we studied the prizes, and they're different. They use different sizes of things too, like Chips Ahoy's cookies. Sometimes they'll use a 4-pack for 55 cents. Next time they'll use a larger pack for $3.49. So you're not only going to watch the prizes, you got to watch the sizes.
Oh, okay. Well, Terry, before you go on,
sure.
I want to let everybody know, if you're just coming in right now, if you're just tuning in, we've got Terry Neese, former anchor and on-air talent for KVBC, and the list goes on and on. He's telling us a little bit of the story about when he was on The Price is Right. So for those of you who are out there who are just tuning in right now, you could actually write down some insider information right now, because Terry really, as this story progresses, you're going to find out that this was an awesome thing. Good.
Okay, so after studying the show, we decided to go out in September for the taping. We went out, and we had a room. And the first day before, it was Sunday, we went out. We went to Universal Studios, had a good time. You get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get in line for the show. At least that's what we did. And there were already 3 people in front of us when we went over and got it. So we were like the 4th and 5th person there, and the line, as the daylight progresses, stretches around the block. Well, you're not doing anything, so you start talking to the people that are there. The gentleman next to us, by the name of Ted, had been there 37 times. The first couple had been there.
No, stop. You said 37 times this guy been there.
Yeah, 37.
Oh my gosh. Was he a young guy or older guy? Or?
Probably 40-ish, 45-ish. There was another gentleman there who was pretty close retirement age. He'd been there 99 times and never got on.
Yeah, that's a diehard guy.
Yeah.
No, he really wants on.
There's a diehard fan right there.
They know him well enough. When he gets in, they say, "Bob, stay in your seat."
I know, that's it.
Sit down. Yeah, you're not getting on the
Not today. I'm going to set a record today.
Yeah. So I really wanted my wife to get on. I had already had my 15 minutes of fame several times over. So I made her a fancy T-shirt with the dog's picture on it, said Crystal spayed, is your dog spayed or neutered? And I had a very generic shirt that said Las Vegas loves the Price is Right. Well, lo and behold, third name called. It was mine.
Third name.
Third name
Yeah.
for that show, right? So I'm the third one down that thing.
So what about the 99 guy? The guy, was he like behind you with like a knife?
No, I think he had a rope around his neck holding it up.
He's like going, I'm looking at you. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
So, third item up for bid was a big green egg smoked hooker, which was on 2 weeks before we went. I knew the price was $11.75. Right on the nose, and I get the $500.
Wow.
Okay,
All
so
right.
it's a big green egg smoker hooker.
So it paid off to watch the show and study the show.
Oh, it paid off big time.
Yeah. Okay.
Big time. What a lot of people don't know this. I'm just going to throw this in there as a side item. When you win the $500, they go to a commercial break. They take it back.
They take the $500 back?
That's correct. They
What?
take that money back. You don't get anything until the show airs.
Oh my God.
So they hand you the $500 and they go to commercial break and say, "We need it back because you can't have it till the show airs." And then they'll send it to you.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Now, who's on the show now?
Drew Carey.
Drew Carey.
And Rich Fields was on it then. They've replaced Rich Fields since then. Rich is
Okay.
back doing weather again, which is what he did before.
Okay. So, but if I get the $500, I'm keeping it. So, I'll go kicking and screaming, but I'm keeping the money. Wow.
So later, of course, getting it right on the nose, and I got to play the game. And it was Switch. The easiest game there is on The Price is Right. 50-50 chance of getting it right. The Price is really right. You switch it. I switched it. It was wrong.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I got to spin the wheel. My first spin of the big wheel, which is very heavy, I got 90 cents on the first spin.
Wow.
I'm staying on that.
Oh, you're staying on that show.
90 cents on
My
there.
gosh. Well, Terry, what we're going to do is we're going to hold to our next segment. We're going to actually talk a little bit more about The Price is Right, and your amazing time there. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, this is Sherman Wright, and this is This Week on DNG Radio. On my right is Terry Neese, a former anchorman for KVBC, and also digital editor for Nexions.com. We have D.W. Grant. In our next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about Terry's experience on TV and what he's done, and we'll also talk a little bit more about the Diversity Networking Group and all about the things that are going on in Vegas. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute. This is the second segment of This Week on DNG Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray, and we've got in studio with us today Terry Neese. For those of you, this is your first time hearing anything about This Week on DNG Radio. We are a production of the Diversity Networking Group, and we actually have some great events that are coming up. As a matter of fact, June 21st, we've got an event over at the City Athletic Club. It's going to be a joint thing with the Asian Chamber of Commerce and YA Events. We're expecting about 500 people at this event. It should be great. So if you're a business owner and you could do work or you could do business with companies like Tobin Infinity or Tobin Fiat, or Home Depot, because those are some of the sponsors of this event, we really encourage you to come out. That's June 21st over at the City Athletic Club.
Well, do we have to bring our towel and shorts?
You better believe it, because guess what, DW?
What's that?
We have got a what they call a boot camp challenge.
Boot camp challenge.
During the event, we're going to have spinning competitions. So it's not going to be just for pretty people like you and I do.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's going to be for people who are really working, and they're really going to be out there. So that boot camp challenge is going to be an awesome event. Should be real cool. So Terry, we're back to you. You were telling us a little bit about your Price is Right experience, and we're not going to spend the whole show about this, but I think it's a compelling show. Terry Neese has been in showbiz and in the area of television production for over 20 years. And so, folks, for those of you who are coming in on the video camera, I think you're going to see some. You're going to be able to actually see this broadcast right now. For those of you who are just listening to the show right now, it'll be up and live for you literally moments after the show is over with, over at the City FM, where Million Quinteros has got the show. Not even pronounced your name right. I was practicing it like all week long now. And so you'll actually be able to download the video, the audio at the City FM. So anyways, Terry, tell us a little bit more. Continue.
Well, you were at 90 cents on the wheel, right?
I'm at 90 cents on the wheel.
Yeah.
And the other two people got up and did their spins and both busted, which means I was going to the showcase.
Yay! All right.
So it's showcase time. The gal that's up against me in the showcase, and this video's on YouTube. I'll go out there and just Google my name and you'll find it.
Now, Terry, a lot of people spell your name wrong, so it's K-N-I-E-S-S.
I-E-S-S is correct.
That's right. Okay.
So Sharon had won a car earlier. So she gets first right of refusal in the showcase. So the first showcase they bring out is a pool table, a karaoke machine, and a camper. She passes it to me. So I look at it, and the pool table had gone before. Golden West pool tables at that time ran between $28 and $3,200. They used 3 different homes.
And you knew this because
Watching the show, studying that show.
you'd studied the show.
So I knew it was $3,000. The karaoke machine had been used, I wouldn't want to guess how many times. I knew it was $1,000. They used that before to get people up on stage and the prizes they put at the beginning. So I know I'm up to $4,000. When Rich Fields mentioned the camper, I thought he said 19 feet. He said 17. In hindsight, I looked it up and he said 17. But I thought he said 19, and usually it's $1,000 a foot. Wow. So it's 19, 20, 23. I looked at my wife in the audience, and she held up 2 fingers and 3 fingers. So I knew the 23 I was in the ball.
Yeah.
So I just paused for a second. 23,743. I'll tell you where the 743 came from in just a little bit. Sharon's showcase come up, and it was 4 trips. A trip to South Africa, a trip to Banff, Canada, a trip to Scotland, and a trip to Chicago. She did 30,525.
You see, I remember when the Price is Right when I was a kid. I think the highest dollar amount, and this is what something occurred to me, the highest dollar amount was like $5,000.
Usually it was a car, and that was $5,000.
Yeah, that's it. And now you're talking $30,000.
Yeah, just on one showcase.
Wow, this is true.
So they paused and they played the music, and I did not realize this, but people that have been to the show multiple times, Sharon and I are dancing up on stage or playing Whitney's music in the background. We're having a good time. We're just kind of jumping around. The pause had taken an exceptionally long time, and I didn't notice it. She didn't notice it. But people out in the audience were starting to buzz. This is taking a long time. There's something odd here. Drew Carey comes back out. He went over to Sharon and said, "You did $30,525. The actual price was $31,019. You missed it by $454." And I figured, I'm toast.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I'm
$400.
toast. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm toast. He said, "You bid $23,743, and the exact price is 23,743. You got it.
All right.
Then the buzzers went off. And the audience is on their feet. And he said, it's the first time it's happened in 30, 32 years. It never happened in the daytime show before. That was in the nighttime.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody's going nuts. And I thought everything was swelling grand. And I said, your total was 54,000 some change. You know, I'm jazzed.
Yeah.
Little did I know that there was, they thought the fix was in. They had hired a producer a couple of weeks before, Roger Domkowitz, and they thought because he had so much experience in the show that he knew the prizes was kind of lacing the audience and giving them tips on, you know, things to say to get in on stage.
Yeah, sounds like an inside job.
Exactly.
Were there any? Yeah.
They can't sue us for accusing them.
Exactly. To make it worse, 1 month to the day after I was on, my sister's daughter, which makes her my niece's niece, has a different last name. She goes on the show. She sat in the exact same seat in the audience that I sat in. She was one of the first 4 called down for the show that day.
Wow.
She got up on stage with the 3rd item up for bid. When she played her game with Drew Carey, Drew made a mistake and they had to give her all the prizes in that. She spun the wheel. On her first spin, she got 95 cents.
Oh, of course.
She's in the showcase. And while her uncle won with a perfect bid, she won with a $1 showcase bid, won her showcase.
Wow. So now, did the FBI? Did you see some guys in black on the side of the walls? You know, behind the screen and stuff like that.
No, but I think Drew Carey has a shoot to kill order on me, or a dartboard dressing, because he was accused of not making a big deal out of it. Well, they thought it was fixed, so he kind of downplayed it a little bit, which I can understand that in hindsight. You know, if he outplayed it and it was something amiss, he'd look bad there. There was no way for him to really play it to look good.
Yeah.
If he downplayed it too far, he was looking bad. Downplaying it to look bad. Outplaying it would have made him look well.
Wow, that's amazing. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, in studio today, over this week on DNG Radio, we've got Terry Neese, and we've got our online digital editor from Nexions.com, D.W. Grant. And Terry's telling us a story about the Price is Right experience. It's just a fascinating story. Terry, tell us a little bit. So now we're getting to the part where the FBI is going to take you away in shackles, doing the goose jump and stuff like that,
exactly.
right? Yeah. Okay.
So we left the show that day, and we thought everything was fine and grand. And then the show aired. They moved it a month almost before the air date. And when they didn't air it, I thought something was amiss. And the rumors were starting to fly that show wasn't going to air. And of course, if the show doesn't air, nobody gets any prize.
That's what I was going to say. You're not getting any cash right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So $27,000 is right now just a dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And plus, I won Sharon's showcase too.
Oh, so
I won all those trips.
Oh my gosh!
I won those showcases. Wow. Trips were awesome, by the way.
Okay, so you did get them, which is good.
We got everything that we were entitled to, and I'm very happy about that. But the fact that my niece was on there a month to the day, and TMZ picked up on it. They first day they went after Drew Carey and just skewered him for being a lackluster host. Then the next day they made this vague, I thought it was kind of comical connection because Rich Fields did weather and I did weather, that he was feeding me numbers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they sell you every time you put your hand to your ear like this, and the price is that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Well, my watch came undone when I was running up on stage.
Oh, that's a sure giveaway right there.
Yeah, exactly. If you read up all this crap on the internet about me, one person says, well, his wife had a computer and his watch was a cue to somebody from CBS. There was just all kinds of strange rumors and innuendos out there.
Now, you said that, can we talk about Brad Meltzer wants to look at it?
Brad Meltzer has bought an option. Brad Meltzer from the TV show Dakota has bought an option to turn it into a movie. He now has, it was in Entertainment Weekly about a week ago, Seth Gordon, who did Horrible Bosses, the movie Horrible Bosses. He's on board as director. Wow. He also bought the rights to Chris Jones' Esquire magazine article about me, because Esquire did a big spread on it. So they're going to mesh this into some kind of a movie, and it's going to be exciting.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. I'll tell you. So we're going to be looking forward to that. In our last segment, we really want to get to your business, the business that you've been in right now for the last number of years. It's going to be exciting. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on locally, and just I want to get your feedback on that. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, this is This Week on DNG Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. And we have in studio with us today Terry Neese and the on-air digital editor for Nixons.com, D.W. Grant. And tune in in our last segment. We're going to talk a little bit more about online things and local news for DNG and in Las Vegas. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, folks, and we are back for the last segment of this week on DNG Radio. In studio today, we've got Terry Neese, and he's been telling us a great story about his experience on The Price is Right, which is real cool. And to his right, the on-air digital editor of Nexions.com, D.W. Grant.
It's not really me, I'm just a digital.
It's the digital version of...
Good chroma key effect.
That's good. Hey, now, Terry, we've heard about your amazing story with The Price is Right, which is awesome and everything else. But let's get to the story of what you're doing now, because I think everybody would really benefit by hearing about what's been going on in your life right now.
Well, what happened was one of the trips we went on The Price is Right was to Banff, Canada, where we rented an item called a Gypsy Guide. Okay? Gypsy Guide is kind of like a GPS-driven device that you put in your car, and it takes you on tours, gives you directions, and it tells you all of the stories about the area that you're seeing at the same time. My wife and I were so impressed about it. One of the things that impressed it said on the Gypsy Guide, coming up on this road ahead is an area where you might find some bighorn sheep, so be careful. We rounded the bend and there were 5 bighorn sheep standing right in the middle. We were impressed. And I said to my wife, that was pretty cool. I said to my wife, Vegas doesn't have anything like this. So I got their business card, and I sent them an email.
I thought you were saying bighorn sheep.
Yeah, fake bighorn sheep.
Fake ones, that's right. Go down to
I'm a Russell, I think.
They get them printed out at the outlaw.
That's it, yeah.
I'm sorry, had to say that. So we got the business card from the company, not the bighorn sheep.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
They got them printed down at the outlaw.
You gotta be specific there, that's right.
And we emailed them and tried to convince them that Vegas was a spot. And I think they thought I was a little kooky at first.
Yeah.
But they finally did respond and convinced them to come down. There were 3 owners of the company and stay a day or 2 in Vegas, and drove them around, took them out to the dam and told them stories on the way out to the dam and the way out to the Red Rock. And within 24 hours, we had a deal in principle to bring the Gypsy Guide down to Las Vegas. So I wrote all of the stories and voiced all of the tracks. And literally, this is my business totally. It's not a franchise.
Yes.
They gave it to me. I just rent the units from them. I pay them a flat fee for unit rental per month, and we in turn rent them out. We are in bed with Expedia.com now, who rent our units here in Las Vegas at the Tropicana Hotel, at their concierge desk and at other concierge desks as well. So that started that way. Then recently, within the last couple of months, a company from Hawaii who does a similar device strictly for rent-a-cars got in touch with Gypsy Guide in Canada and me, and we've come up with an operation now where we have the rent-a-cars and the individual drivers covered that want to rent a Gypsy Guide or one of the GPS driving tools.
What a great idea. What a great partnership, I'll tell you. Because I know when you first came to our networking group, which is the Diversity Networking Group, for those of you who don't know who we are actually a part of a networking group. We've got about 65 business owners. And Terry, you came to our group and spoke about the Gypsy Guide. And everybody was just floored. They thought this is a great idea. Because one of the things you were telling us is that this unit will actually, when you're driving down the road, it will tell you things about local things that many of us who've been here for many, many years would not know.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got stories on there. Some of them I know from personal experience, like the $1 million that's buried in the top of the concrete at the Tropicana's second tower. I was there the day they buried that. I was working for Channel 3 at the time, 1985.
Yeah, and so many of us don't know that. Now, of course, now the bank robbers know that.
Yeah.
They're going to be scurrying around there.
Everybody got a shovel?
It's ground up currency. It's really fine. It's almost besides, I dug it up years ago.
Yeah, let's see. But and so now you've taken that business and partnered with another company, and now it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we get to actually say that we were there when we first got off the ground.
Absolutely, yeah. We were all around it.
Isn't that awesome?
That's fun. Oh, if I can add one more quick thing. Your life really gets weird when people start asking you who's going to play you in the movie. So we have a standing joke around the house.
Yes.
Okay. I say, if he gets a little bit better looking, George Clooney could play me in the movie. But if Eva Longoria gets cast as my wife, I'm playing.
You're playing you, huh? That's it. I'm standing in for myself. We need another love scene. We need another kissing scene. That's it.
I'm in.
That's it. Well, that's awesome. Hey, let's talk a little bit about, because I know we've got just a little bit of time left, but I really want some of your feedback on some of the local things that have been going on here in Las Vegas. We had, many of you have heard about Dana Roselli. We talked about this just a little bit before the show started. Dana Roselli was the on-air talent for Channel 8. And she just got the axe, folks. And that's amazing to me.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
shocked.
I was too. I saw it, and it's like Dana is one of my Facebook friends. And so this might even come as a shock to a lot of people who don't read the paper. But Dana's been a part of this community for many, many years. So give me your take on that, because now you've been on air talent before,
right?
And so now what goes through your mind? Take us through what Dana must be going through right now?
Probably if it came to her totally out of the blue and she's under contract and the contract is not expired, she's really shocked right now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect that. When your contract expires, you know you have time to play with, and you know you want to be shopping yourself around. Mm-hmm. If you're in the middle of a contract and they come out and give you the boot like that, it's a shocker. And they do have to pay, unless there's some kind of an odd clause in the contract, they will be paying her through the end of that contract. But there are clauses that they can put into.
Isn't that kind of the nature of the business? I mean, you were in a lot of TV stations. Did you see things like this happen?
I saw it happen. The reason they ran me out of town pretty much everywhere I was, but I have seen it happen.
It's that Price is Right thing.
That's that paper money that was all ground up.
Yeah, exactly. I had that with me, so that includes. But yeah, no, I've seen this type of thing happen before. It's always sad. Usually when a new news director comes in, the first thing you hear is, "I'm not going to make any changes." As soon as you hear that, get out your resume.
That's it. It's pack your
Rush that
bags.
baby up, because somebody's going to get the boot.
That's it. Wow. So they're probably going to have to pay her to the end of this, to the end of the contract.
Probably will, unless, like I said, there's some kind of an odd clause in there that's violated. They can get out of it.
Sure. As a matter of fact, recently we had another radio host who got axed from her job. That was Heidi Harris.
Okay.
Yeah. So Heidi Harris now, she's doing a show out of LA now.
Okay.
She still lives here in Vegas.
Right.
She says it's her dream job, though.
Oh yeah.
I wondered what had happened to her, because I used to listen to her at KXNT.
Sure. Well,
Kate on.
Yeah. And so she was over at KKLZ, I believe it was. No, what was the name of the KXNT?
KXNT.
So she was at KXNT, and then she went over to Kate on, and then something happened, and so they couldn't come together as the forces that beat, and so she left. But now she's got that clean job, and so it's just wonder. I'm glad that this is our show, so we don't have to worry about getting the.
No, do you know it's the boss?
Yes, it was.
Drew Carey, get out of here. Get out of here with that stun gun.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm wondering, is she doing the show from here? Because with radio the way it is now, when I worked in Atlanta, I did morning weather on WFOX, Fox 97, and I did it from my house. They had an equalized line installed.
Sure.
Paul Harvey used to work in his house.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, from what I hear, they actually built a studio at her house.
Okay, so she's doing it here.
So she's doing it from here. Yeah. So, see, I got the inside scoop on this because I know her doorman. No. So it was very cool. So I'm really happy to hear about her. She's a great lady. She's been around for a while. So there's some great things. Another thing I want to talk to you about, just real briefly, is about the voting, because we just had major elections here in Las Vegas.
Right.
And one of our own, who's been here for a long time, Danny Tarkanian, actually got the nod in the primaries.
Right.
So it's kind of amazing that the Shark's little shark is now, after all these years of trying and struggling to get there, because evidently he's had a lot of money problems and a lot of things have been going on with him, and a lot of mud's being slung, but he's actually come out of it, and now he's like saying, hey, you know what, I'm Republican nod. He'll go up against Stephen Hirschford, so it should be an interesting battle. Yeah, so any thoughts about that?
I like Danny Tarkanian. I've known him for quite a while. I've known his dad from back in the day.
Sure.
And I think he'll be a strong candidate.
Yeah, so
It'll be very good.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We actually have a guy who's part of the diversity networking group. His name is, gosh, I forgot the guy's name now.
It's a jewelry store.
Yeah. Well, we'll remember. I'm sorry, I can't believe I actually forgot his name. Yeah, that's good. I hope he's not. But he's running for Senate, and so our whole dream for people who are part of the diversity networking group is that they aspire to be greater than they are. And so it's great. So I'm glad that you're here in studio with us today, Terry.
It's fun to be here.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about the Gypsy project and all the navigation stuff. And maybe next time we talk to you, we'll get you in studio here. You can tell us that you've become king of the world. And
I wouldn't want that responsibility.
that'd be great. Hey, for those of you who are still out there, we want to just remind you about a networking event that's coming up June 21st. It's the Dash into Summer networking event. It is over at the City Athletic Club. It's a joint operation with the Diversity Networking Group, the Asian Chamber of Commerce, and YA Events. We're going to have a 5K run, spinning competition. We'll also have a boot camp obstacle course, which will be just awesome. Miss Black, Nevada will be out there. We'll have representatives from the Home Depot, Tobin Fiat. It'll be just a great operation.
Hey, I heard Nexion's was going to be there too.
Nexion's will be there also.
We're going to sign up people for Nexion's. We're going to be putting computer links right there live, right there at the end. So you got a website and you want to get online, come visit our booth because we'll put you right on immediately.
That's right. And that was our on-air digital editor, D.W. Grant. And so we want to make sure that you see him over there on June 21st. We want to thank our in-studio guest, Terry Neese, as the two-time Emmy Award winner and Price is Right buster. You know, he's done it all.
Gypsy.
Mr. Gypsy.
Yes, man.
That's it. Hey, if you're ever in Las Vegas, we'd like you to come down and visit us at the Diversity Networking Group. You can go to www.diversitynetworkinggroup.com to find out all about us. We've got 2 meetings a week, Monday and Thursday, and you can go online and find out all about us.
And they're fun.
And they're great meetings. This has been Sherman Ray, and I want to thank you all for coming out and being a part of our on-air audience for this week on DNG Radio. We'll be back next week on Wednesday at 10:30. For those of you who want to get this podcast, make sure that you go to the City FM and just put in the search parameters this week on DNG Radio, and you can actually get the audio of this. Once again, this has been Sherman Ray, and this has been This Week on DNG Radio. We want to thank you for coming out, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.